Welcome back to The Architect. My name is Edward Mugo, and it's always a pleasure to have you on The Architect. Today's show is about Turnkey. What is a Turnkey project? How do we go about it? What is it? We are here to just have a basic discussion about it. It's very deep. There are very many forms of Turnkey, but we are probably just going to do the basics, just try and wrap our minds around whether it's something that you would consider either as an individual or a corporate. Keep watching The Architect. Turnkey projects are projects where there's no distinction between the consultancy team and the construction team, where they merge into one unit, and this one unit tenders for a project, wins a project, and does it. Period. That's a very basic definition of a turnkey. Now, turnkey, what makes it interesting is that if you as a corporate are looking for a project which is very specific in terms of delivery or in terms of time, then turnkey would probably work for you, because then you would sign up with that team with a very finite way and a very detailed way of delivering that project within a set amount of time. In fact, in many of these instances, there's a very heavy penalty if they don't meet that deadline. What happens is that a turnkey project will either be led by a lead. The lead will come either from the consultants or from the contractor. It could be in instances where the project is very contractor based, that the contractor would now go and hire a team of consultants to add on to his expertise as a contractor, but he would form then the lead of the consortia. Now the consortia then would sign up with the client to deliver that project within a specific timeline and within a specific budget. Now, it's the same instance can be said of where a consultant, either the project manager or the architect, is asked to create a turnkey team. So he would now then look for a contractor or contractors, where there are more than one, to form part of his team so that they deliver a project. Now, the same things would apply, that they would be bound by time and they would be bound by budget. The beauty about it is speed. You are sure that the project will definitely take a given amount of time. A lot of the bigger projects internationally are done on a turnkey basis, both in the US, in Europe, in Asia. They're done on a turnkey basis. This and the penalties are very great if they exceed the time. There are also rewards if they finish before time. So it is a dual coin, that if they finish before time, they are rewarded in terms of cash, and they finish after, then they are penalized in terms of time, in terms of cash. Now, for your project, if say you are doing an office fit out, would it make sense to do it as turnkey? A lot of people in Nairobi are going that route, where they look for an architect and tell him, or an interior designer, and tell them, look, I don't have time to go to tender. I don't have time to look for an engineer. I don't have time to look for a quantity surveyor. We are giving you the project. Make sure it is delivered. So that way, that consultant would now look for his own internal partners, work with partners of QS, partners of building, and they form a turnkey unit which now delivers the projects according to the specification of the client, within, of course, a given period of time. What are the cons? The cons is that if you have then a poor relationship with the team, then all your eggs are, so to speak, in one basket. Your consultancy and your architectural team and your engineering team and your construction team is in one basket. So if you do have a bad experience with them, then you have to start all over again with another team. Second one is supervision. How do you then supervise their work? It behoves you as a client then to hire an internal project manager or a project representative who now is skilled, who has technical skills to supervise your turnkey project team to confirm that they are obeying the rules of engagement, so to speak. They are doing work according to how you agreed. In fact, in bigger firms, in bigger projects, this is actually a full team that supervises the turnkey project management team, so that you have almost like two teams, one working for you to supervise that the other the turnkey team is actually doing their work according to the drawings and according to the agreement. Now, one of the cons again is that the documentation, it could actually be a plus. The documentation has to be extremely detailed. The documentation for legal, all the contracts have to be extremely detailed and looking at every nook and cranny of what could go wrong. The drawings have to be extremely detailed because you see the drawings affect the budget. The budget is fixed. So therefore the drawings have to be extremely thorough and detailed. The analysis has, the BQs have to be extremely exhaustive, because you don't want a point where the turnkey team goes and says, hang on, we missed out this detail and this detail is going to cost you X amount of money. It has to be seen from the word go that your brief, which was also very detailed, has been followed by creation of equally detailed documentation going forward. So it is important to get an experienced hand in terms of the overall lead from your end to make sure that the documentation is very well detailed on both ends. So I hope what I've talked about has helped you to see whether turnkey project management is something you or your company can go with. But it is something that we need to accept. It's coming to Kenya, has come into Kenya. We need to work with it. It is fit for some projects, not so good for some other projects. Projects that even you as a client are not sure that there would be no changes, probably are not a good fit for turnkey. Because turnkey, once you agree on fittings, once you agree on materials, once you agree on cost and timelines, it is recommended that nothing changes unless it's absolutely necessary. So we talked a bit about turnkey today. Keep watching The Architect. My name is Edward Mugo, and it's a pleasure to have you with us. Do not forget to subscribe. Our details are as below. Thank you and God bless.